He doesn't love you the way he should, where he's fully caring for and protecting your heart. Instead, he loves what you give him while you're confused. I'm talking about your attention, your energy, your loyalty, without his commitment. He loves the power he gets when you stay stuck, wondering where you stand. Have you ever experienced that before? Because as long as you're guessing, he never has to step up. You think it's mixed signals? It's not mixed signals. It's a man who knows exactly what he's doing, at least unconsciously. He's keeping you in limbo, so he never has to truly lead and be the masculine man. We're going to be talking today, if you've ever experienced this kind of man, this kind of situation, or worst case, you're experiencing it right now. Why this happens, what kind of thing is going on in his head when he's doing this, and what you can and should do about it. My name is Zach Rohde. I'm here to lead you into creating the relationship of your dreams, using your feminine energy and what I call feminine communication to inspire a man into cherishing you. If you've not yet subscribed to this channel, make sure you do that. Hit the notification bell below and be sure to like this video because, of course, I'm going to make sure it's a good one for you. So this kind of man that I am talking about, it's a problem. Most men have insecurities. This is what you got to understand. Almost all men have some kind of insecurity. And most men are not going to be dealing with it in the healthiest possible kind of way. A lot of men are going to deal with this insecurity by trying to maintain power and control in the relationship. Now, you might relate to this, even as a woman, right? Holding on to the power and control because that makes you feel more safe. That makes you feel more secure. And you might have your own control patterns to do that. Some form of manipulation or hiding your heart is going to be a big one, right? Not being truly vulnerable, not fully letting him in. So that's how your insecurity is manifesting. And I say that, or part of the reason I say that is hopefully, even if you've experienced this kind of thing from a man, to have some kind of compassion for a man, right? We're all human, even though what a man is doing is really immature and irresponsible and it's hurtful. He's doing all he knows how to do to get his needs met, just as you are, right? It's just that his strategies to do that are not very good and it ends up hurting you. And we're going to be talking about in this video, not just about why these things are happening, but also what you can do in this situation so that he can let go of trying to get control in that unhealthy way. He doesn't need to, right? In a healthy polarized relationship, the man does have all the control. He does have all the power in the relationship, but he uses it to take care of his woman, to cherish his woman, to meet her needs, to take care of her feelings. Right, in my marriage, and I've been married for, 8 years or something. Sorry, not 8, 7. In my marriage, I have all the control. Like, I am fully leading. I'm the one that's making the decisions. My wife is following my leadership. She's respecting my leadership. But how am I using that control? I'm using it to take care of her because I don't want to do anything else. I don't want to hurt her. I love her. Right, so why would I use that control to hurt her in any kind of way? And I don't have insecurities where I would need to hurt her in some way to feel worthy or to feel secure in the relationship. I already feel that way. Okay, that's the kind of man that you need in a relationship where he wants to have the control, but he's using the control to take care of you rather than to use you or to hurt you or to feel more secure in some way. Because you're going to be the one that ends up getting hurt. And we don't want that. So this kind of man, there's going to be many types of men who are trying to hold on to control. And I'm going to talk about myself, my old self, as one of them before we get into this specific type of man. So I was never the type of man who would try to hold on to the power in the relationship by withholding clarity, by unconsciously having my wife confused and not sharing exactly what's going on and where she stands and everything like that. That was never me. What I realized a few years into the marriage, though, was that I was trying to hold on to control in an unconscious way by not giving too much. Like, I'm not giving too much of myself, my energy, my time, and I wanted her to give more, because as long as I was the one that was giving less, then I would be safe. I'd be more secure. I'd be the one that's more in control. And my background was pickup artistry, right? Like, I'd learned how to be a pickup artist, and I picked up actually that as a very unconscious manipulation tool. I just didn't realize, because I didn't have the template that I teach now of a devotional man who's leading his woman and a submissive, respectful woman who's following her man, but also from her self-worth, always from her self-worth to honor her needs. She's not being a doormat. So this was the best that I knew how. But I ended up hurting my wife by doing that. And funny, she had a very similar pattern of withholding, right? So we were both doing that, and that's not a way to have a relationship. So that's one way of partners trying to hold on to the control. Another one, though, is, and the woman can do this too, but it's going to typically be more likely to be the man, because the man is supposed to be the one who's leading the relationship, right? He's making the plans, he's planning the dates, he's the one that's choosing to claim her, like, hey, we're in a relationship now. There can be relationships that are totally inverted and backwards from that, but that's the way that it's supposed to be. So if the man's the one that's leading, he typically needs to be the one that's giving the woman clarity, right? Clarity about, like, when are we going to be meeting? And what do you mean to me? When I was dating, it was always me who's like, I'm free this time, let's meet up here. Tell me when you're free. And I'm leading the whole thing and letting her know when I'm letting her know when I'm available, and I'm finding out when she's available. So I'm leading that entire process. But what some men will do, and there are multiple reasons for this, some men will not be giving a woman clarity. They just won't. They'll be vague about stuff. They will be wishy-washy with their plans. They will not let a woman know where she stands, right? Let's focus on where the woman stands, right? In my relationship, when I met my wife, I was like super clear about where she stood. It's just like, hey, I really like you. I find you amazing. I want to continue going on dates with you, and I'm continuing to set up dates with her. She always knew, like from the first date onward, what my intentions were with her, because I gave her so much clarity about it. I was very transparent. I did it in a relatively masculine way. Men can do that in a really weak way. That's a big turnoff for a woman. But let's just assume, like, you want a man to be doing it in a masculine way, right? It's from a place of power, from a place of strength. What men will sometimes do is they won't be clear about that or about other things. And then what's that going to do for a woman? That form of lack of clarity, more than anything, is going to tend to bring up anxiety in a woman, right? So where do I stand with him? Does he like me? Are we going into a relationship? Are we exclusive? He's not really having that conversation. And then you have to kind of guess. And then you feel more anxious the longer that it doesn't happen. And then you might have to be the one that starts asking those kind of questions, like, what are we? And a man that does that, a man that does that is emasculated. Okay, that's one form of emasculation. Any man who is not fully leading and fully taking care of his woman is emasculated. And it's sometimes it's just because he's dumb, right? Like, I had a lot of things about myself way back when where I just didn't understand women. I didn't understand what they needed. I didn't understand what my role was. And so I was just kind of a lazy, apathetic leader compared to what I should have been doing. That's one problem. I'm not talking about that kind of problem in this video. I'm talking more about the kind of man where, at least unconsciously, and it could be conscious as well, and that's much worse, but at least unconsciously, he is trying to keep you confused. He doesn't want to tell you be fully transparent and upfront, because if you don't know, you're more in that kind of chasing, guessing energy. And then he has more of the control. He holds on to that control and power in the relationship because you are chasing that clarity. And it's like, in his unconscious mind, or maybe conscious, but typically unconscious mind, if you knew exactly how he felt, you wouldn't like him anymore. And he would lose the power. He would lose the control. So what is he going to do to maintain the control? Obviously keep you guessing. Now, like I said earlier in this video, you probably have done something similar unconsciously, right? Have you ever not shared your feelings about a man? Like, you really like him, you're really attracted to him, but you didn't share because you didn't want him to think that, you were too much, or, you were just needy or anything like that. Well, if you're withholding that stuff, that's a form of manipulation. And I'm judging that, but it's okay, we're all human. It's okay for you to be imperfect. Now, of course, this is what these videos are going to help you shift, because actually withholding something like that, this is not the topic of this video, but if you withhold something like that, he's actually going to become less attracted to you. The only kind of men who are attracted to those kind of women that are withholding that are men who are like chasing mommy's love because they weren't loved properly. A healthy masculine man gets more turned on by a woman who tells him, like, yeah, I feel so much attraction to you right now. Like, even on a first date. And not just what she says, but like he can just feel the energy of like, this woman is so into me. And I don't mean it in like a graspy, clingy way. I just mean like, she's loving this. She's totally receiving me and into me. That's a turn on for any kind of healthy man. So the fact that women hide that and they act more guarded and reserved, it's like, oh, I don't want him to think that he likes me. What a weird thing. Just tangent for a second. What a weird thing for both men and women to be programmed to believe that if they expose this big secret that they like the other person, then that other person's not going to like them. There's a reason for that happens, where the person actually loses attraction for them, and it's not the fact that it's being exposed, it's how they're exposing it in like kind of a weak, clingy, needy, yucky way. I'm sure you've had a man who's exposed that before and you're like, ugh, yuck. Not talking about that, okay? And this is why communication is so important for both men and women. This is why feminine communication is important. This is a big part of what I teach. How to communicate in a vulnerable way where you are in your self-worth, so that instead of repelling a man, it's going to, anything that you say, whether it's your attraction for him or your sadness or your anxiety or insecurities, whatever, your anger towards him, it's actually going to inspire him to be more interested in you rather than less. Tell me what you're thinking so far of this video. How are you feeling hearing this? Any insight so far? If you are enjoying this video, be sure to like this video. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, because we talk a lot about this. I put out a lot of videos, a lot of content going deep into all of these issues, understanding masculine and feminine polarity, the differences between men and women, understanding why you react the way that you do, understanding what you need to do, most importantly, what you need to do to either attract a healthy masculine man if you're single, or if you're in a relationship, to inspire that masculine part of him into stepping up and leading and taking care of you and cherishing you the way that you deserve. You have that power. You have that ability. You just need to know how. You just need to be taught. And pretty much everyone out there is lying to you unintentionally. For the most part, some things are good that they say, but there's so much misunderstandings and misapplication and things that are being taught. It just leaves women so confused. And let's clear up all of that clarity, because it doesn't have to be so difficult, and it's actually way more simple. Once you understand the polarity framework, once you understand the differences between men and women, it actually gets relatively simple. The subtleties and nuance of feminine communication and the depths of how you heal, yes, that can absolutely be much more challenging. That can take a lot of time. To really speed that up, that can take a lot of support. And on this note, before we talk more about emasculated men that are doing this pattern, and also what love really is, I'm going to briefly just talk about support and how this can really change your life. So what I do is I help women in my academy program, where we lead women to make all of these shifts, to learn how to let go of control, to understand men, to learn how to respect men, to learn how to honor themselves, let go of fawning patterns, judging patterns, avoidance patterns, to fully step into your self-worth, to inspire a man into taking care of you, and to attracting a masculine man if you're single. And if you're interested in that now or at any point in the future, go below this video. Open up the description. You're going to see relationshipyourdreams.com. Click on that link. Watch the video that is on that page, where I'm going to be talking, explaining these shifts, and you're going to hear from my clients how powerful these transformations are. Even if you don't work with me, how about you just get a little bit more inspired about what is actually possible for you? Whatever you're dealing with right now, I can guarantee it can be so much better when you learn what I teach, not just in my program, but also just in these videos. But if you're interested in working with me, you're just going to book a call after watching that video. It's right below the video. And then we speak, we talk about what's going on in your love life, and we help you change your life. We'll talk all about it. Now, I'll give you some coaching and support on exactly how to shift and find out if our academy program is right for you. So that's relationshipyourdreams.com. Okay, so back to regular scheduled programming here. These men that are trying to hold on to control, understand that giving you clarity, actually being clear about their intentions, how they feel towards you, even just like being clear on dates and all that kind of stuff, and like what the plans are, that can actually bring up anxiety for them. They are unconsciously avoiding doing that out of fear, because they're afraid that if they did that, they would be exposed as not worthy and you wouldn't like them and they would abandon you. Or sorry, you would abandon them. And it's these insecurities that get in the way of truly being able to love somebody else. Like, it's our wounding that prevents us from loving someone else the way that they need to be loved. And I'll tell you what, I have so many experiences with women, like so many different women, as well as almost a decade with my wife. And I will tell you, did I say 7 years that I've been married? What am I talking about? It's like 9. I don't know what's going on with my brain today. It's from way back in this video. So, about love. So, I have so much experience with women, but what has really taught me much more about love is my children. So, I have a little girl right now who's a little over 3, and I had a boy who died at 6 months old. And it was really my boy who taught me how to, like, what love really is in the first place. Like, I really didn't know. I thought I did know until he was born. And I realized, like, how naive and dumb I was. You know, like, I loved my wife at that point. You know, I really cared for her. I loved being with her. I had fallen in love with her, all of that kind of stuff. But what I really believe love is, it's something so much deeper. Like, when my son was born, it was like, his needs are my needs. Like, if his needs go unmet, I feel pain. I feel deep compassion. If he's going to get hurt in some kind of way, I'm going to feel like even emotionally hurt. Like, you know, if he's going to feel scared that he's not going to know where I am or my wife is, his mother, I'm going to feel horrible. And I'm going to do everything possible to make sure that anxiety or that pain goes away. That's what love is. And not, to be clear, not in a codependent kind of way, not in a way where it's like, it's really actually about me, right? Like, I'm not worthy unless I am showing up in a certain way. No, I mean, in a purely compassion way, a pure love kind of way. So that experience, and then also the experience with my daughter later, really has opened up my eyes, and it kind of gave me a template, a map for, like, this is how I should be feeling towards my wife. And obviously there's differences, you know, like, I don't think anyone can love, or at least I don't think I can, like, love my wife or anyone else as much as I do my own child. And it's kind of a different kind of love. But, you know, with my son at the time, it was like, you know, I should feel way more like this with my wife than I do. And why don't I? Why am I so much more selfish? I get closed off. I'm more stingy about things. When she's hurt, I don't care nearly as much as I should. Like, I'm not freaking out about the pain that she's in and doing what I reasonably can to solve it. It's like, that's not right. Like, if I truly love her, why am I doing this? And so I started to really question myself at that point, because, you know, and what happens with relationships, you start to, like, blame comes in, and resentment, and, you know, stories about, like, why it's the other person's fault, and all of that's going to block love as well. But what I realized from having children, and especially, you know, now the over 3 years that I've had raising my daughter, it's like, real love is, like, you're going to do, like, it's not just a feeling, it's an action, right? Like, you can feel like, oh, I love this person so much, but are you actually acting as if you love that person? Because I'll tell you, if a man is withholding himself in some kind of way out of fear, of losing the woman, or having her, of like losing the power, the control in the relationship, and she's feeling anxious because of that, I will say that's not love. Like, I mean, part of it is love, true, of course, and no love is going to be perfect because we're all wounded, but like that's a huge issue that needs to be worked through. And that's why I'm taught, like, from the start of this video, it's like, does he really love you? It's like, yes, he might love you. A man who cares about you and is doing things for you and is in a relationship with you, he loves you in some way, but does he fully love you with all of his heart? That's what it's about. And I could say, looking back, well, anytime after my son was born, did I love my wife with all of my heart? No, because I was stuck being a little boy instead of a man. A healthy masculine man is going to be a woman's provider and protector. And like, there's many facets to that, but just to really simplify and kind of give an analogy, just to visualize what I mean, it's like, he has your heart in his hands. He has control of your heart. He has all the power to do what he wants with your heart. What does he choose to do with it? He chooses to love it. He chooses to protect it as much as possible. He chooses to treat it as sacred, as his most prized possession. He chooses to use his power to devote to you, to make your life better, to heal any wounding that's in the way of loving you deeper, of fulfilling his mission to properly take care of you. And I know this fully, not just from the shifts that I've experienced with my wife now, but also that initial roadmap that my son gave me, just by like, oh my God, this is what love is. Holy crap. And it's such a powerful thing, and it's such a huge form of responsibility for a man, right? And it's different for a woman. Understand, I'm not going to get too much into this in this video, but men don't really need love the way that a woman does. And that doesn't mean he doesn't want a woman to love him. And I'm talking about masculine men. I'm not talking about emasculated feminine men. I'm talking about healthy masculine men with their masculine instinct online. It's like, I don't really care that much, relatively speaking, about my wife loving me. Obviously, I want her to love me. But actually, what I want far more from her is her respect. I want her to look up to me. I want her to fully trust me. I want her to be able to fully follow me willingly, enthusiastically. And yes, I want her to love me as well. That is part of it. But for a woman, the love part of this is so much deeper, because you are in the role of being you are supposed to be in a polarized relationship. The way that you are instinctually wired is that you are supposed to be in the role of being taken care of, right? That thing I talked about, like having a man having all the power and like holding your heart in his hands, and he uses that power to cherish it and take care of it and protect it. It's like the reverse is not true. It's like, if I'm telling this to a man, like, yeah, like, what you need more than anything is for a woman to hold your heart in her hands, and all she does with the power that she has is just cherish it and take care of it. A masculine man would be like, what? I don't know about that. I don't know, that doesn't really do anything for me. But if I said to a masculine man, like, yeah, like, she's going to fully look up to you as her hero, and fully respect you and want to fully submit to you and follow you to the ends of the earth, and just fully trust you completely in every way possible and open to you and be fully vulnerable, a man will be like, holy crap, yeah, how do I do that? Like, can I do a program with you? Or like, where can I learn that stuff? That would be amazing, right? That's what a man wants. So these are different instinctual needs. Men and women are wired completely differently. And I'm talking about instinct, right? Because if a man's masculine instinct is offline, that's not going to make much sense to him. If a woman's feminine instinct is offline, all of the stuff that I've said on this video so far, it's going to go like in one ear out the other, and it's like, no, I don't know about that. No woman, I don't think anyway, no woman who doesn't resonate with what I'm saying would even get this far in this video. If you have gotten this far in this video, congratulations, your feminine instinct is relatively online. Unless you've just been pissed off the entire time. And like, you're going to send this to all your friends about how crazy this guy is. But typically, anyone who gets this far in this video, it's because your feminine instinct's online. What I am saying is resonating. I am speaking to your feminine instinct, right? The reason that you can listen to this and take it in and be engaged and stick around for this long in the video is because I'm speaking directly to your feminine instinct. I understand it in a way that very few men or women do. And on that note, if you're loving this video so far, again, make sure you like it if you haven't liked it. And if you haven't subscribed, definitely subscribe, because I got so many more videos like this. And start watching them, because it can completely change your life. Even if you never work with me in my academy program, even if you never get support, just by binge watching all of these videos and going through them all, applying the stuff that I talk about, applying the feminine communication pieces that I talk about, start practicing, start experimenting, you can change a lot of things in your love life for the better. That's why a lot of women end up doing calls with me eventually, because it's like, oh yeah, I applied this stuff and it worked, and like, you totally spoke to me and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yeah, absolutely. And now we can go way further and actually transform your life as quickly as possible in my academy. Yeah. So that's what love is. And a lot of men are not there because of their own wounding. You need that level of love. Absolutely. And when you're not getting clarity, when a man is not loving you enough, because that's a form of protection of your heart. It's like, heart is in his hands. Is he choosing to cherish it and protect it? If you are feeling all of this anxiety because he's not being clear, if he's not giving you clarity, he's not telling you where you stand, he is not protecting your heart. He is not being responsible with your heart. And it's like, I'll say this especially with my daughter now, because like with my son, it's only 6 months, and there's only so much that I could really do, really, right? Like, he wasn't talking, and anyway, with my daughter, annoys the hell out of me sometimes. Like, she doesn't stop talking ever. Like, soon as she wakes up to the time that she goes to bed and falls asleep, she is talking. And if she's with me or my wife or both of us, she's talking nonstop all the time. She does a lot of crazy stuff. She does a lot of annoying stuff. And I know all children do to an extent. This is extreme though. Like, very extroverted. And anyway, point of this is that part of love for me with her is like, I'm always thinking, I'm leading her to grow and to be better and to, shift out of unhealthy behaviors and all that kind of stuff. So it's one of the things that I'm doing. And then at the same time, I'm always thinking, like, what is going to hurt her? Like, what is going to traumatize her would be the worst. But even other than that, just like, give her a negative experience that's not actually necessary, like for growth in any kind of way, right? Like where she's dysregulated and she doesn't know how to regulate herself. I want to avoid that at all costs. So that feeling of like, hey, your heart, sweetheart, her name is Uri, her heart is in my hand. And like, she has to fully depend on me for her to be taken care of. And I apply that with my wife as well, as much as possible. Same principles. I'm still in the same role of like, I am here to take care of you. I am here to cherish you. I am here to protect you. And if you don't have a man that's doing that when it comes to giving you clarity on things, it's like your heart is going to start hurting. You're going to feel anxiety, yes, but also you're going to start feeling, what else? Angry, sadness, maybe shame sometimes, and possibly some other feelings as well. And if you don't know what to do with those feelings when they come up, you're probably going to make the situation worse, because you're going to go into a control pattern of judging or blaming or whatever else. You need to be able to start inspiring him into protecting your heart, into recognizing how vulnerable and beautiful and innocent your heart is. And unfortunately, most women are not doing that, because they're not showing their heart. They're protecting their heart the whole time. They're pretending to play it cool and like not be emotionally affected. And I've done a video on this, like, not being super sensitive. And so a man doesn't recognize the impact he's causing on you. And then when you do share feelings or you share something about the problem, you tend to go into blame, judgment, criticism, nagging, clinging, questioning, like it's annoying kind of questioning, and like you're just trying to do the best you can. You don't know how else to communicate. But what happens is that causes a man to care even less, and that like he's being even less of a protector of your heart now, because it's like she's annoying and bothering me and not really respecting me. His needs don't get met, and then he's not going to care as much. That's going to be a big problem. So you need to be able to show up in a way where you are honoring yourself as a woman, and you are respecting him as a man, and you are fully showing without trying to get an outcome, because you're not trying to manipulate him. It's nothing about manipulation here. Nothing I teach, by the way, is about manipulation. There are so many coaches out there that I see, women coaches, I think probably more than men when teaching women, that are actually teaching the subtle manipulation of men. I don't do any of that. You don't have to do any of that. It's totally unnecessary. You're going to feel in your body. You should feel in your body if your instinct and you're in touch with your feelings. That's like something's not right. This doesn't feel very good. Feminine communication, what you're doing is you're tapping into your feminine instinct and speaking. And for some women, like some of the feminine communication that I teach will feel like, oh, I don't know about that. Like that feels really weird. And that's because of wounding that you have on top of your feminine instinct. Women come into the academy all the time with some resistance, at least to the communication. And over time that shifts and then, they love it. But initially there can be a lot of resistance, and that's okay. But ultimately there should be this feeling of rightness where it's like, oh, I'm not manipulating, I'm not trying to control anything, I'm just sharing my heart, and that's all. Here's my heart. And can that be scary? Yeah, that can be terrifying, absolutely. But there should be that feeling of rightness at the same time. So the only way for a man to be able to be inspired to actually step into the protector, like he's protecting you, he's protecting his heart, instead of protecting himself and his own insecurities and his power in the relationship because he's afraid of losing you or being judged by you or seen by you or whatever. So he's still the protector no matter what. He's protecting the wrong thing. And if he's protecting the wrong thing, he's going to end up hurting you. He's going to end up trampling on your heart in some way. He needs to be inspired to realize like, oh, this is what I need to protect. And by protecting your heart, he's going to have to shift out of his unhealthy behaviors and actually start healing and shift more into his self-worth. So by you shifting into your self-worth, by showing your heart, he's actually invited, we'll call it, because he might not choose to take on the invitation, and in which case you should leave him. But he's invited to step up to the next level, to be your protector, which is what you need. How to do that? First of all, you need to tap into the actual feeling. Okay, like I teach feminine communication, but if you're disconnected from the feeling, if you're sharing feelings more from your head than your heart, a man's not going to be able to feel it. He's not going to really be inspired to take care of you. My wife, prior to me, and even still to this day sometimes, but prior to me teaching her feminine communication, I never heard her be vulnerable once. Like I never felt her heart. I felt her anger towards me. I felt blame. I felt a whole lot of things penetrated into me, but it's very different than feeling that vulnerability, that openness, where it's like, I just want to take care of you. The first time I ever did feel that from her, I was just like, oh my, like what a monster I've been this whole time. I just want to fix everything and not ever hurt you again. That's the power of a woman's heart. And guess what? In that moment, my wife wasn't controlling me in any way. She was letting go of all the control, all of the power. And it inspired me to want to just take care of her. You can do that. And you need to do that when a man is not being clear with you in any way. If you start just asking a whole bunch of questions, which is what women will typically do, well, guess what? That's usually not going to work. It's going to drive him away because there's a subtle leading energy to that. Sometimes not so subtle. But if you share your feelings, I'm not going to talk about all the, I have other videos talking about other aspects of the feminine communication. Just focus on the feelings for a moment. Like, if you feel anxious, you tap into that anxiety and you're like, oh, I feel so anxious right now. And you're not trying to get him to do anything about it. You're not blaming him because you feel anxious. You're just sharing to share. And I I feel statement. That's what we teach in the academy, because that's the easiest way for you to tap into those vulnerable feelings. If you say like, I am sad, or I'm sad, or especially like that's sad, or that hurts, or this hurts, or I feel hurt, all of that is an avoidance of vulnerability, and a man's not going to be able, it's very unlikely to be able to feel your heart at all, because you're actually unconsciously using that as a cover. You need to be willing to get fully vulnerable, even when a man is not showing up perfectly, and he won't, and share yourself. And if a man doesn't care, even when you're truly being vulnerable, well, guess what? Do you really want to be with a man who cares about you so little, loves you so little, that even if you're vulnerably sharing your anxiety or other feelings, sadness, anything else, and you're not blaming him with them, you're not trying to control him, you're not doing any, not manipulating or anything, and he still doesn't care, he still doesn't want to do anything about it, do you really want that kind of man in your life? Do you really want him to be your boyfriend or your husband, or go on that next date or anything like that? Because if you're in your feminine self-worth in any kind of way, you will know that you are so much worthy, you're so worthy of more. You need more, you deserve more. I am here to tell you, give you the message that you deserve the absolute best. You need the best. Because I'm sure you want to be the best for a man, right? And hopefully you realize it, especially if you watch more of my videos, that means fully letting go of a man, fully letting go of trying to control a man, fully following a man, learning to eventually fully trust a man, first having faith in him, fully looking up to him, fully respecting him. So don't you deserve that opposite, where like he's fully taking care of you, he's fully cherishing you, he's fully protecting you? Of course you do. And you need to know that. That's part of the message here today, is that you absolutely deserve that. You are absolutely worthy of that. You need that. Do you know that? Tell me. Tell me, type out, do you realize that? Do you recognize what you're actually worth? Are you willing to tolerate anything less? Have you been tolerating less? Have you been making it all about you in some kind of way? Or have you been sticking around with a man but blaming him because you don't know how to communicate differently? What have you been doing? The solution is feminine communication. The solution is being vulnerable. And the solution is being willing to flow away from a man. If you do use feminine communication, you are vulnerable, you try multiple times, you make sure that you are using it correctly, and he still doesn't care. And if he's not willing to be fully clear up front with you, give you the clarity that you need about plans, about dates, about where you stand, about all of that stuff, then he doesn't truly love you in the way that you need to be loved. And you deserve more than that. This video is in a series, by the way. I'm going to be doing a whole bunch more after this. So if this topic really resonates with you, make sure that you watch the rest of them, because they'll be really helpful for you. Be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. And then, of course, if you would like to find out more about how we can help you, relationshipyourdreams.com, book that call with me. We'll get on a call. We'll have a great time. Bring some tissues. You might cry. You'll probably cry. And we'll have a lot of fun, and it will be very educational for you, and we'll find out if the academy is right for you. Thank you so much for listening and spending your time watching this. I hope it was really helpful for you, and keep watching more videos. That's it for this one.